Dun, 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 dun. Thank you for attending another episode of the End of Day Report with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave price trigger reports that we place in your hands each and every day. Now, you know what it is. It's time for Take Back Friday. That's right. Thursday night episode is our preparation for Take Back Friday. That's just what we do. Jumping off a few minutes early. Why not? Got to knock this out because I've been starting rather late. So why not start early this time? All right, so we're going to run through this as we normally do, giving you the intraday price inflection points that you need to be aware of for Friday's Take Back Fridays trading. Please note that we may not have a Take Back Friday every Friday. It's just something that normally happens and occurs for whatever reason. Kicking things off is the E-mini S&P 500. As you can see here, the market bias is still to the buy side with the bullish weekly trend momentum reading. All we need to do is close above 33.83 3/4 in order to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. Moving right along now is gold futures. As you can see here on the chart, the market bias is still to the long side of the market. And although we have a bearish weekly trend momentum reading, all gold needs to do to maintain a bullish bias is close above 1897.20. That's all that is needed to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. What about the NASDAQ 100 futures contract? Well, we got a bullish bias, as you can see here. Markets trying to get up toward the top of that Kumo cloud there. All that needs to happen is a close above 11,413 3/4 to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. Moving right along to crude oil futures. Bullish bias in the market, bullish weekly trend momentum reading. All that is needed is a close above $39.74 to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. Russell My Hustle, as you can see here, bullish bias in the market. A close above 1580.4 is needed to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. Flipping over now to silver. Silver right now has a bullish bias in the market. All that is needed is a close above $23.89 to maintain a bullish bias going into next week. Next, we have corn futures. We have a crash alert for tonight into tomorrow's trading. Although right now, leading up to this point, we're in a bullish bias because tomorrow's Take Back Friday. I think we will see some downside production tonight into tomorrow. However, a close below 384 3/4 will be bearish going into next week, meaning we could see a pullback to trendline support down to 360 handle. Ouch, I know. Soybeans, taking a look here, we got the bullish bias in the market, and a close above 1041 even is needed to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. What about wheat futures? Looking a little bit cornish, because corn had the same thing. Crash alert for tonight into tomorrow's trading. Up until this point, you had a bullish bias. Now we flipped to a bearish bias. Trend line support down around the 545 area is the initial target. A close below 591.5 is a bearish one. Moving right along, here is the Dow futures. All right, so bullish bias in the market along with a bullish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above 27,932 is all that it takes to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. How about the Australian dollar on the forex side? Got a bias, bullish bias still in this market, although we have a bearish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above 71.44 is needed to maintain a bullish bias going into next week. Next, we have the Canadian dollar. We still have maintain that bullish bias in this market with a bearish overhead weekly trend momentum reading. Now, normally, because This is in a bear market and under a corrective state here. You would say that it's basically flipped to a bearish bias per se. But normally when we have a situation like this, what normally will happen is that this downside will be limited and will be bid right back up again. So that's what we're watching for, either that or it could also flip on you. So the way to trade this is to follow the reports, because just doing the eye test is not going to help you. The chart is not helping you just by looking at it with your eyes. You got to follow what the algos are doing. A close above 132.76 is needed to put in a short-term bottom and turn bullish on the chart going into next week. US dollar index right now still maintaining a bullish bias with a bearish undertone, bearish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above 93.70 maintains a bullish outlook, but a close below that maintains a bearish one. All right, the euro dollar, sticking with forex here, bullish bias in the market. Nope, it's a bearish bias in the market. And we have a bullish weekly trend momentum reading popping up, which means that we could see some upward mobility going into next week. But in order for that to happen, you need to close above 117.49. All right, closes above 114.79 is bullish. Anything below that is bearish. Sticking with the forex, let's look at the euro yen. All right, downside bias still, bearish bias in this market. Bullish weekly trend momentum reading. Is it going to try to get to the top of the Kumo cloud? Your guess is as good as mine, but a close above 124.24 is needed to maintain a bullish bias. Anything below that opens up for a bearish one going into next week. How about that pound sterling? Well, the pound sterling has a bullish bias in the market. Bullish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above 129.11 is needed to maintain a bullish outlook going into next week. How about the Japanese yen? Well, we got a bullish bias in the market. Bullish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above 105.75 maintains that bullish outlook going into next week. Mexican peso. Right now, we have a bearish bias in the market, bearish weekly trend momentum reading, a close below 21.59.57 maintains a bearish outlook. You need to close above that in order to put in a short-term bottom and turn bullish. Nat gas. All right, so Nat gas right now has been flip-flopping ever since we had the contract rollover. We just got sideways action. We flip-flopped back to a bullish bias. We had this rally alert coming into today, had a narrow range inside day with no upside production. However, we do have a bullish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above $2.56 maintains a bullish outlook. Anything below that is a bearish one, which could see a pullback to the trend line support around the 230-ish mark. All right, looking at the Kiwi, the New Zealand dollar. All right, so we have a bullish bias in this market, but a bearish weekly trend momentum reading. A close above 65.97 is bullish. A close below that is bearish. All right, looking at the South African rand. So, as you can see here, we got upside production from the rally alert, still maintaining a bullish bias, but we're in a corrective phase with a bearish weekly trend momentum reading, which means you could fall at any moment. So you may have to take profits quickly if you're long the market. A close above 1663.81 is needed to put in a short-term bottom. As long as we stay under that, any upside potential is going to be limited and remains in the bear camp. All right, looking at the mighty Bitcoin, the mighty Bitcoin. Trying to get up here to test that overhead resistance line of the Kumo cloud, bullish weekly trend momentum reading, bullish bias in the market. A close above 10,687.75 maintains a bullish outlook. Anything below that, though, will open the door to a bearish outlook going into next week. All right, how about Ethereum? Since we're on the crypto thing, we got a rally alert for tonight into tomorrow's trading. Top of the Kumo cloud is the objective. A close above 345.59 maintains a bullish outlook. Anything below that would be bearish. How about Litecoin? Well, Litecoin maintains a bullish bias. Overhead trendline resistance is the immediate target. So that's around the 49-ish level. As long as you have a close above $46.3641, you are bullish. Anything below that, though, would be bearish. And last but not least, bonds. By way of ticker TLT, rally alert for tomorrow. Overhead trendline resistance around the 164 mark is the initial target. A close above $160.62, however, is needed to put in a short-term bottom. A close below that has a bearish outlook. All right, and that's it, man. We ran through all of these charts. You know how we do, man. All right, now a word of caution for my crypto people out there. Please keep in mind that Friday for cryptos starts Thursday evening, New York time at 6 p.m. and runs until 6 p.m. Evening, New York time on Sunday. All right, that's a long Friday, right? But for the crypto market, that's the Friday for the crypto market. You don't have to believe me or take my word for it, but you do have to deal with that reality. It's just the way the markets have designed themselves, and that's just how they move and fluctuate. And you just have to deal with it. All right. So with that being said, you know what it is, PulseWaveTrading.com. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give Nathan back. And I'm out. See everybody in the morning for the pre-market post scan. Peace.